crew. I'm in the car this time, y'all. I know there's a lot of sun out here, but if y'all can see me enough, welcome to another episode of A Path Apart. This is installment number 4 of the A Path Apart podcast here on YouTube Live. This is our YouTube Live version of the podcast. I'm looking forward to, in the future, having a, a more formal podcast setup. But for right now, you got to use what you got, utilize what's in your hands, and use what's at your disposal. So we're right here in the truck again. A Path Apart, episode 4. You guys, welcome. I'm so excited about this episode, as I am excited about all of our episodes so far. We've covered a variety of topics so far. I believe on the first episode we covered what is an outlier, and on the second or the last episode that we did, check out the last episode and some of our older lives. We talked about being neurodivergent. If you want to know what being a neurodivergent individual is, check out the episode 3 that we did. But we're just having a really good time on this platform. So we're going to be talking about, on this episode, the topic of how style as a form of self-expression, style, and how clothing choices can express individuality and challenge societal expectations. Style as a form of self-expression, and how clothing choices can express your individuality and challenge at the same time societal norms. All right. And so we established that we are people who are individuals. Okay. We are people who stand out from the crowd. We are people who think differently. We are people who reason differently. We are people who are faced with individual challenges, but nonetheless, we are a people that God has placed in the earth to be different, to pave pathways, to blaze trails, to be trailblazers, trendsetters. That's what an outlier is. That's what a neurodivergent person is, a person who thinks differently. All right. And so being an outlier type of person, or a neurodivergent type of person, welcome. In this society, we tend to have our own ways of expressing our individuality, expressing ourselves by the way that we dress, by the way that we style our clothes, the way that we style our hair. For those of us that have hair, I don't have hair, but there's plenty of you out there who have hair. Plenty of you, of course, who like to just do things differently. Style your clothes different. You wanna come out of the house and you wanna express, the ways that you think creatively in the form of fashion and style. And so this is just a part of who God made us to be. And some of us do this by incorporating unconventional elements to our clothes, unconventional accessories, things that go with our outfits. Some of us, we splash on bold colors. Sometimes we incorporate different patterns, different pieces, pieces from different generations past generations, past eras of clothing. You know, you might mix a beanie with like this, which is considered from today's style, with something from the 1920s. You know, a jacket from the 1940s, some old vintage military jacket, you know, from the 50s, from the 60s. You know what I'm saying? You might want to just mix it up like that. That's all fine and dandy. You know what I'm saying? That's all good. Just being different, being an individual. That's what we're all about here on this podcast, right? And so we can splash on bold colors, like we can do those different types of patterns. We can just go all out and just show how different we are. Because people already know you different. When you enter a room, they already can tell that you don't belong, or they deem you as a person who don't belong. You do belong. Wherever God sends you, that's where you belong. But when people tend to come across a person that's different, somebody that thinks different, somebody that looks different, they automatically make that person an outlier. They automatically try to make that person an outcast. They already automatically know you don't belong there in their mind. In their mind. So anytime you put on clothing or accessories that deviate from today's fashion trends, that deviate from today's style trends and things of that nature, you are considered to be an outlier. You go against the grain, like myself. Like when I was coming up, when I was in high school, I was very much into the rock scene, and I was into the rap scene. So when groups like Linkin Park came out, and various other groups came out, they were hitting the scene, the music scene and all of that. I was into that scene. I was into the Marilyn Manson scene. You know what I'm saying? I was into metal, heavy metal, metal, rock and roll, rock and metal, metal and rap. You know, those types of things were going on back in the early 2000s when I was much younger than I am now. And I used to put eyeliner and stuff on. Like, I wasn't on no funny type drag stuff, but it was just the subculture of being a rocker, a subculture of being a metalhead. You know what I'm saying? I would have like eyeliner, not too heavy, you know, not a whole bunch of feminist stuff, but I used to just want to make black around my eyes, you know, or I would have someone draw like stars on my head, or draw like little lightning bolts on my face and stuff like that. You know, just trying to find some type of creative outlet, some way that I can express myself creatively. You know what I'm saying? And I just use my body as a canvas. And I went out, you know, doing my daily hangout, and just hanging out, taking a walk out on the streets, running errands, getting on buses, hopping in cabs, you know, and just being out there, you know what I'm saying? And I felt good about it. You know, I felt like I was going against the grain. And of course, you know, I had people looking at me strange, but it was all good because I know that I was being true to myself. I was expressing myself artistically with my fashion, with my style. You know what I'm saying? I was doing something, letting people know, you know, I'm not like you. You know what I'm saying? And I got the cojones to come outside in public like this, you know, and to me it was cool. You know, to me I felt confident with it. You know, with the paint on my face paint on, and things like that. So the Lord was just showing me another facet of my personality, another facet of another level of boldness to be able to do that. Here I am, straight from the hood, straight from the projects, and I'm dressing like this. You know what I'm saying? I got stuff on my face like that, different colors, blues, yellows. I mean, yeah, that was just the type of wave that I was on. You know what I'm saying? I toned it down a whole lot now, of course. But back then when I was young, man, I was just out here, you know, I wasn't hurting nobody. You know, I wasn't causing harm to myself or nothing like that. at that time. But y'all know about, all of the dark times that I was in. At one time I was suicidal, and at one time I was depressed at one time. You know what I'm saying? But this is before that. So yeah, so everything that I'm talking about on this podcast, I have some experience in. I experienced it. So I'm not just coming from a place of not knowing what it really is and not living that particular lifestyle. I was about that life. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't about that gangster life. I wasn't about that thug life. I was all about that individuality life, that outlier life, that stand apart life, a path apart. That's what I was on. And I'm still on a path apart. I don't think that's something that'll ever change with me. So you can do the splash of bold colors. What we say? We said bold colors. We said vintage pieces mixed in with new pieces, kind of like blending the old and the new together. What else? What else do we like to do? Sometimes um, we rub people the wrong way when we do stuff like that. You know, because when people can see that you're not afraid to be who you are. You're not afraid to, how some people say, live out your truth, or be true to yourself and be true to who God made you to be. You pose some type of threat right off the bat. You know what I mean? Right straight through the gate, out the gate, you causing some type of, you making them feel insecure about themselves. And most people who aren't neurodivergent see you as a threat. Some people see this way of living, this way of dress as inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? They see it as inappropriate because you are challenging all of the societal norms. Everything that's considered normal in society, especially in the style department, in the fashion department. And to me, fashion, I own a couple of fashion lines, and to me, fashion and me even getting into that genre of fashion is because I'm a creative, and I just see fashion as just another project, just another creative project, something that I can express myself creatively through, just another medium of creativity. So I really don't understand how people can say, this is in, but this is out. You can't wear this because we're not wearing that. This is not in right now. I don't see how people can do that, because either way, you're expressing yourself. I think the whole idea of getting into fashion and art in general is to create something new, create something different, create something fresh, create something that didn't exist before. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand how people can just be like gatekeepers over art, over creativity. So when you go against mainstream trends, when you decide that you want to embrace the part that God has created in you to be an outlier, to be a trendsetter, not a trend follower, people don't like that. So real quick, I want to give y'all a few key points on how personal style can express individuality and challenge societal norms, okay? Number one, non-conformity to the trends, like we were just talking about. When you don't conform to the trends, you make the trends, you create trends. You don't conform to the trends. So we do this by choosing clothing that goes against the current trends, the current fashion trends, that goes against the grain of fashion, of style. And you, on purpose and deliberately, push boundaries in fashion. You push boundaries in style. And you push against what's considered normal. Number two, mixing and matching of styles. So you might take a style from this subculture and blend it with styles with a style of that subculture. Like you might, like I was saying earlier, I was into the rock scene, I was into the metal scene, I was into the rap scene. So what I did was I combined hip hop with metal. Like, for example, I'll wear like a beanie like this, but along with it, I'll go to Claire's, I'll go to Hot Topic, which was in the mall at that time, and I'll go and pick out like a crazy belt with a wild belt buckle, like, or I pick out a bracelet, a metal bracelet with chrome spikes around it, leather bracelets with studs and chrome spikes around them, um, a dog chain. Um, I'll pick out something like a belt, like a Nintendo belt. I was a huge Nintendo fan. So one time I chose a Nintendo belt, leather, with a old school Nintendo controller for the belt buckle. It was chrome. Um, One time I chose a jacket. It was like a Nintendo jacket to go with it. And the jacket was like the same color, the same colorways as the original Nintendo, the red, the grays, and the white, and it was dope at that time, the way I put it together. So just examples like that, not caring about what people think. Because somebody gonna always have something to say about you. Somebody gonna always disagree with the way you do things, the wave that you ride, your style, the way you think. People gonna always have something to say. You can never do enough for people. You can never please people enough. You can never make 100% of people agree with who you are and who God created you to be. You just got to be different. You just got to just go out there and just express yourself. As long as you're happy and you're not hurting yourself, hurting nobody else, go for it. It's a go. So mixing and matching styles, combining different eras in your style, in your clothing, in your fashion, different eras with other eras, with other subcultures, with other aesthetics, with other elements of different time zones and time eras. You know what I'm saying? Different generations, and blend them all and make a dope outfit with it. I had like on the positive side of things, I would have people come up to me and say, "Yo, man, those shoes are dope, man. How you put that together, man? I really like it, bro. I really like the way you match that bracelet with that hat. I like the way you matched that jacket with them jeans. I like the way you matched that necklace with them shoes." You know what I'm saying? People will actually come up to me like that and just say, and some of them will be real honest and admit, "Yo, man, I couldn't pull that off, man. But you pulled it off. You did it right. I don't know how you did it, but it looked good on you, man. Keep it up." So you might have a rare occasion where people will come up to you and actually give you a compliment. Not that it should go to your head, but just stay humble and say, "I appreciate it, bro. I thank you, man." Like that, and keep it moving. Number 3, sometimes we add bold palettes to our dress, to our outfits, bold patterns to our outfits. We utilize vibrant colors. We utilize striking patterns that probably wouldn't go together normally. Polka dots and houndstooth. You might have a hound. For example, you might have a houndstooth tie with a polka dot jacket. I mean, I wouldn't personally wear that, but however you feel led to showcase your individuality and show the world, that I'm different, and sometimes it don't even take all that. Sometimes, you could just come out the house, you could just put on something simple, t-shirt and jeans. People will already feel your energy, feel your aura, and they can already kind of tell that there's something about this guy, especially when you start talking, they figure that, this guy has a different way of thinking, or this girl got a different way of thinking. You know, I what he or she said, I would have never thought of it like that. So people already know. But since we're talking about fashion on this particular episode, we want to stick to the fashion aspect of being an outlier. So, you might just use bold colors and bold patterns to accentuate your individuality in style and fashion. Number 4, tailoring and fit. You might wear something that fits you really closely, like tailored jackets, tailored coats, tailored jeans, tailored leggings or whatever, just something that fits your form closely, when it will probably be, it was designed to be loose fitting or baggy. You might take it to a tailor and say, yo, can you tailor this jacket to my arms? I want it to fit closer. You might take something like I'll just say military jacket, and you might take it to a tailor and they can make it tighter. They can make it more form fitting for you. You might take some jeans that's meant to be real baggy on you, and you might take it to a tailor and say, hey, make these jeans a little bit more form fitting, or a little tighter, or whatever, a little bit more snug. And you'll be surprised. Doing little alterations like that could do so much for your outfit. It can turn it into a whole nother beast, a whole nother outfit, a whole nother style. And so don't be afraid to go out there and do those things. Just experiment with style. Experiment with clothing, with fashion. Express yourself differently. Number 5, creative accessorizing. Like I was mentioning a little bit earlier, creative accessorizing. Thanks for the thumbs up. Like I was telling you about the bracelets, about the belts. You can do something different with bracelets, belts, necklaces, earrings, just choosing just your choice of what people wouldn't normally wear, or you might choose something that people might normally wear, but you might get it in a colorway that you haven't seen before on the streets in your city or in your town. Say like this pair of earrings or this ring, you might have seen it somewhere before on somebody's finger in the cafe, in the mall, but you've only seen people wear the gold version. You've only seen the people wear the silver version, and you might want to go to rose gold. You might want to go to tungsten. You might want to go to choose the the neon version. I don't know. Another thing, when I was growing up, when I was younger, I had fangs. I had fronts, platinum gold, white gold fronts in my mouth. At that time, fronts were in, back in the 2000s, early 2000s, they were in. But instead of being like everybody else, I didn't just choose the regular all gold or all platinum fronts. I had to do it different. So I went in and I got the fang versions, the ones that look like the ones with vampire teeth. And I got them diamond encrusted, princess cut. And so that was just something different visually that I chose to do with that element of my style at the time, So when people saw it, they can automatically say, oh man, that guy's different. Oh, I like that, man. Oh, I don't know how you pulled those fangs off, but you did it. I wouldn't have never did it. I would have never done it like that. I didn't have the guts to do it, but by the grace of God, I had the guts to do it, just stuff like that. And also confidence. Confidence is key. Confidence is key. Confidence should be like the number one point that we have on this entire episode. You got to have confidence. You might have heard somebody say to someone else, or even to you, you're wearing, I like what you got on, but it don't quite fit you. It looks like that jacket is wearing you. It looks like that skirt or that dress is wearing you. You're not wearing the skirt. You're not wearing the dress. You're not wearing the jacket. It's like is wearing you. You know, you don't want to ever hear that. You know, you want to make sure that what you put on, people can tell that it's authentic. People can tell that that your choice to wear this particular article of clothing or accessories came from a sincere place. Like, you know, you're not just doing it just so you can be different. No, you chose that piece because something in you really resonate with that piece. And you look in the mirror and you can see that, you know, that you're actually wearing the piece and the piece isn't wearing you. You know, people can tell that it's authentic. And you're not being what we used to call a poser. You know, you're not just trying to be like somebody else, but just because you saw somebody else wear it. You know, you got to make sure it looks good on you and that you feel comfortable in it. You got to make sure that you feel confident and comfortable in your clothing, in your skin. So you want to make sure that you exude confidence. You want to exude confidence. It's crucial. All right. So along with all the stuff that we said, along with all the stuff that we talked about on this podcast episode so far, you got to remember that you're always going to face some form of backlash. You got to have thick skin to be an outlier. You got to have thick skin to be a neurodivergent. You got to have thick skin to be a pathfinder. Because people are going to snicker, they're going to jeer at you, they're going to point their fingers at you. They're going to joke you under their breath. They're going to mumble under their breath. They're going to do all kinds of things to try to deter you from being who God created you to be, to try to deter you from being an individual, to try to make you feel bad about who God created you to be, about being a trendsetter, about being bold and going out and expressing yourself creatively in fashion. They're going to come. Haters are going to come. I had my share of haters. I had my share of people that snickered at me, jeered at me, you know, even put their middle finger up at me. You name it. You name it. I've been through it. But I'm still here today. I'm still here today. And it won't destroy your life. Trust me. Don't let it destroy your life. Just remember that you are expressing who you are. You don't have to live for nobody else. Yes, love everybody else. Respect everybody else. Minister to other people about God. Tell people about Yeshua. You know, evangelize to people. Love people. Care for people. Empathize with people. But you don't have to live to please people. All right? So, thank you guys for coming on today. I really appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in to this episode, the 4th episode in our A Path Apart podcast here on YouTube Live. We talked about style as a form of self-expression. And I had a really good time sharing this information with you guys. I hope something that I said was helpful to you. I hope that you could benefit from something that I said here on this episode. Leave a like, leave a comment, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Share this out to your followers. If you know anybody who's just like us, who's an outlier, who's a person who thinks for themselves, let them know. A Path Apart is a podcast here on YouTube, and we're talking about a whole bunch of exciting and strong topics, and we have a lot of fun. All right, so you guys, I love y'all, man. As always, the life path is the right path, man. I'll talk to y'all soon. Keep me in y'all prayers, and I'll keep praying for you guys. Peace.